And welcome to a brand new edition we started last evening of Talk to Me. Continuing the progress, particularly as we are discussing these issues with the representatives of the coalition, the ep2 AFC. This is a non-confrontational, non-aggressive, very casual discussion where the members of the party, members who represent the party, get an opportunity to talk, to share their views as a way of convincing you that you should vote for them come March 2nd. And so I'm in the studio here with another representative. We had one of the coalition's representatives last night, Mr. Siram. And tonight we have another young gentleman who is representing the party. And we'll be talking over the next half an hour or so and getting to hear some of the issues that the party has that they would like you to hear about without the abuse out and the cuss out and the, what normally operates and obtains around this silly season. So sit back, relax, and see if you are going to be convinced based on what you will hear for the next few moments. In the studio with me, handsome, educated young man, attorney at law, Mr. Darren Wade. How you doing, buddy?
Thank you very much, sir.
How was the introduction? Handsome, educated. You can live with that?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for the compliment.
You're welcome. So this is Talk to Me, Darren, where the folks want to hear, in a very deliberate way about the issues. But before you do that, tell the audience a little about yourself.
Well, as you rightfully mentioned, my name is Darren Wade. I am from a village that you call Litchfield, on the west coast of Belize. I came from humble beginning. I didn't come from a rich family, but through hard work and education, I was able to achieve my goal in becoming an attorney. My entire life has been about service and service to the people. I would have dedicated my life, or rather dedicated my life, to serve, regardless whether or not I'm in the church, I'm at school. Even when I was at University of Guyana, I was on the faculty board, that's the social sciences faculty as a student representative. I was on the Students' Council, the University of Guyana Student Society. When I was at law school, I also ran for elections there. So I've always been involved in activities in my village, whether or not it's procuring books for the village library, or computers, or giving back culturally, or doing cultural promotions and so on in the village. So I've always been serving.
So this is an extension now in the political realm at this level, is an extension of your service.
That's correct, sir.
And you're a candidate?
Yes, I'm a candidate on the top of list for the Partnership for National Unity / Alliance for Change.
Is this the first time you made it on the list?
Yes, it's the first time I'm on the list.
And how do you feel having been added to the list?
Well, I believe the APN UFC coalition has been, for many years, I've been training a core of young people. I mean, positioning us to take over leadership at some point in time, So how do I feel it? I believe it's good. At least I'll be able to serve at the end of the day, should I be selected to represent the government, whether or not in parliament or in cabinet. I am prepared to serve. And
it is as a result of the leadership preparation that you have made it on to the top.
Certainly, yes. Certainly.
Okay. So how last night we had former captain, Army Captain Siram, and a young man like you, and again, you guys come across as being very excited about the party. What breeds that excitement?
I believe when you look at the coalition, in Guyana, just one party in office thing, one party in government, it doesn't work. I believe we are many people, we all have different views, and a coalition is best in governing Guyana. We have in giving proper representation for the various walks of life, the various persons, various professions, and so on. So I think the coalition is the best option for Guyana. I believe when you look at what the coalition would have done over the 4+ years, and when you compare that to the PPP, certainly PPP is no match. When you look at the coalition leadership, compared to PPP leadership, there's no match. When I was at the University of Guyana, in the library, there's a plaque there with the various persons who were valedictorian over the years with the University of Guyana, and His Excellency President David Granger name is there. When you compare him to the other candidates up to now, Efren Ali, up to now, we don't know whether or not he has a first degree. I noticed there a matter before the court whereby some two Guyanese, ordinary Guyanese, no politicians, approach the court and they're asking the leader of the opposition, Mr. Barjaga, to produce Mr. Efren Ali certificate. I don't know how that will go in the court, but I know for a fact they would have since approached the court to strike out that application. But I'm saying, regardless of the merit of that application, I would have liked to see, Mr. Efren Ali produce his certificates to the Guyanese populace, so Guyanese people can make a informed decision about him and put these questions to rest. So I must say I'm disappointed with that.
Let's talk though, because you're saying that the party has a glowing record over the last 5 years, 4.5 years. So as you try to make a pitch to the audience, could you highlight some of the things that stand out in your mind as it relates to what you'd like to share as accomplishments for your party?
Yes, certainly. When you look at the education sector, for instance, sometimes it begs the question whether or not my learned friend, Mr. Priya Manikchan, I asked what she was doing as the minister when you compare to what is happening now under the current government. Let us look at the secondary schools and the improvement with the various subjects and the overall performance of our students in CXC, whether or not you are on the coastland or you're in the hinterland, I believe, and I've been saying it on the campaign trail, and the president recently opined that education is the greatest equalizer. A person like me who came from nothing and now, I have a profession, one of the most noble professions in the world, because of education. When I was going to school, I had issues, in relation to affordability and so on. I did whatever job I had to do to able to send myself to school. But now under this government, a student don't have to worry about breakfast. A student don't have to worry about
no student in Guyana. Every student in Guyana benefits from the 5Bs.
Well, based on my understanding, I cannot give an exact word, but it's available in all of the regions. Whether or not it's buses, boats, bicycles, and so forth. And this is a program that was recently launched, and I believe it's going to improve as the year goes by.
Someone might say that you are so articulate, you are a professional in your field, and you were a professional before the change in the administration. So how do you now needle the past administration when you benefited from whatever obtained under that, or how you compare and contrast?
Well, let me first say no. I became an attorney in 2015.
The same year.
November.
Okay.
Right, but my education was basically under the PPP. But I had my struggles. What I'm saying, the struggles that I went through because of policies that were implemented by this government. Students, whether or not you're at the University of Guyana, because now the students at the law school at UOD and Trinidad, they are being assisted by this government. We don't have to feel the suffering and you're worrying about where the next fees is going to come from and so forth. This government, they're assisting students.
And when you were there, that was not available?
No, this government said no, they're not going to assist us.
The last
of course, Mr. Anand Lali, he was the Attorney General back then. He even visited us in Trinidad, and we pleaded with him for some help. And the response was no. This government has been doing an extremely wonderful job in giving young people, regardless of whatever field you're part of, opportunities, And
there's also talk about creating a law school for Guyana. How advanced is that?
Well, I cannot give you a word on the where the law school is and so forth in relation to that. But what I could speak of is the opportunities, the various scholarships and so forth that would have been given, what was given to students over the past 4.5 years. There are many scholarships I understand that were there, and because of your affiliation, they were refused. And even if you were not qualified for the scholarship, they were still giving it to you. Even if they had to create a fake certificate at a fake university to allow you to go on a scholarship. I understand there was a university, some university at IFLOT or some West Denmark University that was created for a fellow to benefit for,
Attorney made.
Those are some of the allegations that are out there, and we just want these things to be cleared up.
All right, you highlighted some, and I know that you seem to have some passion in some area, but as you represent the party here, You spoke of the advancements in education over the last 4.5, 5 years. Would you want to highlight some other advancement in some other areas?
Certainly, whether or not it's infrastructure, the video road works throughout the length and breadth of Guyana. I recently visited Letem. Letem have paved roads, beautiful roads. I went over to Brazil and compared what Letem looked like compared to Brazil. We look far more developed at that aspect there. Letem and Bonfil, Brazil. Georgetown back then was known as the garbage city. Georgetown is clean. Yes, there's garbage there and there, and we Guyanese have a responsibility also to keep the city clean. I remember one minister saying that if a contagious disease could break out, and in Georgetown, we prayed for that shame, and that's what transpired before. A minister, with the local government minister who said, who wanted or actually prayed for a disease to break out in the city of Georgetown, your capital. We see what is going on in Canada, in China, and a disease like that, the PPP wanted to break out on the people of Guyana when they refused to clean the city. So we look at healthcare, and an extremely wonderful job that has been done by Comrade Lawrence. I could make, for instance, where I'm from in Region 5, 2 new health centers were built. One at around what we call Idam, Bat, area, Myconi, and also at Cotton Tree. And if you look at the pattern over the years, those health centers were built in predominant PPP area. So this government, despite of it's supposed to maybe from certain areas, have been giving to the entire country equitable distribution for all of Guyana. So that's what also, you asked the question earlier in relation to what attracted us. You mentioned Mr. Searam, who was here yesterday. So when you look at this government that is looking after the needs of each and every Guyanese compared to what was offered before, where we live in Litchfield, we had no proper roads. But when you go to places like Bushat and Bar Settlement, they had proper paved roads and so forth,
Let's go back again. I'm listening to you, and I'm trying to go between the moderator and the audience. So I'm switching in my mind as you speak. When you talk of education and the fundamentals of education, the successes that are being seen now, would you care to say whether or not those foundations were laid under the last administration?
Well, Mr. Jeffrey, correct, yes. If you want to look at a student who was not having breakfast before you go to school, he has breakfast now. If you look for a student who could not have gone to school because there were no transportation taken there, these things are now available to him. I believe it is a reasonable conclusion that we could to make, that because of these things that were recently implemented, we see an improvement. We have the night schools, that were not there before. You may remember, like if you were a teenage mother, or you would have probably dropped out of school for some reason, several reasons, probably even no fault of yours. You're not given opportunity to go back to school and learn. These things were not there.
I saw a picture that went viral with these little children rushing the president at one of the visitations he made in one of the rural areas.
That was Bartica.
Yeah, and a bunch of children just rushing him. It looked genuine. Objectively, it looked like a genuine picture. Do you think that is as a result of those 5Bs that particularly help the people in the riverine area, the boats, the bicycles, and so on? Do you think that they might be reacting to that?
When you look at our president and what he has done over these years, the one is a God-fearing persons basically generally love our president. He's a caring man. You see him at the altar praying, and his implementation and so forth. So, and when you compare to what was before, obviously, the people, the children will love him because he's a breath of fresh air to Guyana, and that is why the response he has been receiving has been so great. One president even mentioned that one former president going to slap up one of our Amerindians or indigenous brothers. Our president is not like that. He's a breath of fresh air for the entire Guyana.
Here you are. You spoke of the tradition of preparing young leaders and this bequeathal or eventual bequeathal of the leadership to younger persons. How are you, your admiration for the president, how is that transcending into your personal life as you prepare. You could be a president in the future. How do you um, plan to reflect the demeanor of the president in your own personal life? You talk of him being a breath of fresh air, of him being prayerful, of him being admirable. How many of those qualities reside in you, or do you plan to replicate as you see yourself as a successor to the president?
You know, what I admire about the president most is always he's humble and great patience. And you know, sometimes you may wonder what is going on. The president is not saying anything or what have you. But when he responds, whatever decision he makes, you can't find fault with him. He's very the statics and so forth. I admire about him, the way he go about his business and so on. So those are the key qualities I want to take from him. One, he's humble, he's honest, he's decent. You know, he's not arrogant, he's not boastful. So these are the qualities that I, as a future leader or rather a leader, that I want to be embedded in me. Is a man that I could look at. At any point you could look out there and say, and tell your son, be like David Granger, be like him.
And so you would like for it to be said, be like Mr. Wade.
Well, my prayer is that whatever I represent, you know, I try my best to walk in the straight and in the narrow path, and to be honest and decent. And if those are the qualities that persons see within me, I will have no problem. I would love them definitely to pattern those qualities.
Beautiful. The president has always been a churchgoer. He didn't start going to church when he became the president. In fact, I think the Sunday or a couple of Sundays after he had won, he was seen going to church.
I believe it was the immediate Sunday after. Yes. I was in Trinidad at the time I looked at it. He went to actually the church right up the road,
Right,
the Church of the Transfiguration. Yes.
How important you think it is for a leader to first have a spiritual foundation and then to publicly practice that spirituality?
Though while one may argue Guyana is a secular society, I believe majority of Guyanese belongs to some sort of religion, whether you're Christian,
97%.
Hindu, or Muslim. You know, for our majority. And regardless of whatever religion backing you have, you must have that foundation. You know, to a place of solace, a place where you can go and call upon someone, your God. You know, I'm a Christian. I'm an Anglican, just like the president. I've been from St. Jude's Anglican Church, where he's been to Transfiguration in Georgetown here as well. I pray to God because and that's worked for me. So having that place of solace is essential, because you know the various challenges you may face from day to day. I think that is critical.
So you think that people admire that to the point to where that could be a deciding factor in the elections coming up?
I would have noticed that person is a man of God, is a man of faith, and certainly that works in his favor. Because you know, when you're a man of faith and you're a man of God and you fear God, that I believe is essential. Because like if you want to do something, you'll be in check. No, this is not God. This is not right. You know, God is looking down. You know, it helps to garner you and keep you in check. And if you don't believe in any God or any being, you'll be reckless.
You sure you want to say that?
You can be reckless. Yes.
Oh, you can be.
You can be.
Not that you are.
You can be reckless. Yes.
All right. Now, how has the change in governance over the last 5 years, how has that worked to the benefit or to the detriment of the legal fraternity?
I don't understand the question. Detriment or change of
No, I'm
government
saying
affects the
right.
legal
I'm saying
community.
has the change of government aided in any way the legal fraternity? Have things gotten better? Are there any marked differences in how things are done under the new government with the new attorney general? If you
want to look at the new since the government came into being, one, we have what is called the new civil procedure rules. This was something for years we have been praying for and I'm begging for. So when you had a case before the court, it takes like 10 years to come up. Sometimes the litigants die. Now a case could come up in 3, 4, 5 months. So that's one thing. The implementation.
And what's the term?
The civil procedure rules. That's basically guides our conduct in the matters, when we file when we have to appeal to court, and so forth. The court manage the process of the matter. And in within the new system, it's the litigants who are more involved in trying to remove it from the lawyers, because the lawyers could delay, they're busy and so forth. But in trying to resolve matters on a timely matter, in a timely manner. When we look across the length and breadth of Guyana, there are several magistrate schools new magistrate schools that were being built in Guyana. Only recently, under this government, they implemented the recording system. So these are marked improvements. When I was at law school in Trinidad, all of the magistrate schools are recording. But in Guyana, we know what we are getting there. So you imagine if PPP would have done some of these very same things, set things, where we would have been today. But all they were interested with is putting monies in their friends and cronies' pockets. But this government has been given to Guyana to improve the lives of ordinary Guyanese.
As a member of the ticket, as a member of the slate, the candidate list, sometimes you can live in a bubble. But if you were to be objective, how well do you think your party will do in the upcoming elections? Do you think there's any question as to whether or not would you want to suggest what folks can do to make the turnout better, or to make the win a bigger win?
Because you see, you mentioned the issue. I'm not objective. What I've been doing over the past few days, I've been asking persons from the outside, what do you think? And everyone that I would have spoken to said to me clearly that it's clear that the government is going to have a victory. The government is going to remain in office. What I do is that that the opposition leader, Barry Jack Dio, he be mature enough to accept defeat.
Well, the opposition has been calling for observers to come in and so on, and that has been happening. You have several observers on the ground.
Sure, you see, here again, our president, he even invited people from the EU. We have the Carter persons. I'm sure the various embassies in Guyana will be involved in it. So, because we believe in free and fair elections, we have nothing to fear. No, we have nothing to lose. We're going to win these elections coming March 2nd. So we have them. We are open. We are transparent. So the observers are here to observe the process.
Anecdotally, it can be scientific, but any feedback as to how today's voting went among the armed services?
Well, I've been following social media and online and so forth. I understand that's been great. So a great turnout.
In America they call it exit polls. Any exit polls?
No, no, not as yet. But the process, I believe the ballot goes to the community, so to know, because they don't want any discrimination and so forth. So from there, the ballots go to where they.
No, but they know people coming out and they talk. So that's what I was talking about. Anybody coming out and saying bye,
I know for the Army, the chief of staff said he would have issued an instruction not to converse with the media. So there's nothing, but we have confidence with the military.
Okay. The party has a young face. I'm talking about your party. Has a young face when you look at the slate. How does that make you feel? Because when they began, there was a lot of talk that most of the positions were obtained by a number of senior folks and so on. So how does the new slate make you feel as a young man?
Let me say this. I believe that the perception that there were no young persons in senior government position, I believe that was very myopic. It was very short-sighted. If we carefully looked at the various offices, there are many young people who are in governmental position. You have Mr. Quincy Jones, a young man. He's at the regional health officer for Region 4. We have a young person at the Georgetown Hospital who's in charge of attorney at law. There's Mr. Christopher Jones, who's a youth also at the department there of sports. There are the PS is also a young person for the Ministry of Cohesion, Sports and Culture. This is a department of cohesion, youth culture and sports rather within the Ministry of the Presidency. So they have young people in various governmental organizations. And to the second part of your question, how do I feel? This is a government that cares about young people, and they are giving young people good opportunities, and it's for us as young people to take up them.
How do you see a new government catapulting the youth um, uh, should they win the next election? What are some of the avenues? What are some of the areas that you think young people will really be catapulted to another level under a Granger-led administration?
Um, Entrepreneurship, I believe, and training. Um, when you look what they have been offering over the years, and we're going to continue. For example, the SLET program through the Ministry of Social Protection. That's a great initiative where young people are being given monies, grants to various companies and businesses. You know, when you look at various the countries in Africa and Asia, the young people are pushing the country economy through entrepreneurship and training. So equipping our young people in the various expertise and the know-how, especially for the coming oil and gas. I believe that that is certainly one area in whereby the government will invest in young people.
As an attorney, and you might not be a criminal attorney, criminal defense attorney, just half a minute on crime and security.
Um, when we look at the current crime situation now to what is back a couple of years ago, when the people was in government, crime was out of control. Bodies were all over the place. You know, someone said that in the PPP they had the 5Bs. They had blood, bodies, burial ground, boxes.
Wow.
They had their own 5Bs. So and now it's totally different. Yes, there's crime, and every crime is too much crime. Every murder is too much. But certainly there's been a downward, there's been a decline in crime, and that trend under the continued David Granger administrations will surely continue.
You have other the coalition. You have a great representation of attorneys in the coalition.
The lawyers, say, I know quite a few of us, yes, around this slate.
On the slate.
Yes.
And within the party.
Yeah, sure.
All right, we've coming up to the top of our time. Take a moment and make a pitch to folks who might still be saying, you know, it's still undecided. What would you say from the top of the mind that you think could help nudge a person in your direction?
We would have experienced over the past 4 years, the tremendous improvement in every facet of life of Guyanese. You know, as I would have mentioned, regardless your child would have been afforded the opportunity to go to school, regardless your old age pension and your pension was raised. Though the people may say that you had to sort of like water and so on that was free under the government, but then not every pensioner would have benefited because not everyone has the water register in the name and so forth. Our Amerindian brothers and sisters, our indigenous brothers and sisters in the interior, they could not have benefited from this. So, regardless of whatever way you would have benefited in this government, and when you reflect to what we would have gone through a few years ago, we wish not to go back to those dark age. And this is for your children. This is for your future. They are the ones, you know, who are going to benefit. We know what transpired on the PPP. Opportunities were not given to young people on the PPP, and we don't want to go back to those dark days of the PPP. So it's essential, you know, that we all come out together, arm in arm, and ensure that David Granger is re-elected as the president of the Republic of Guyana.
Attorney Wade, I thank you for your enthusiasm. I thank you for your time.
So thank you for
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Peace. Thank you.